Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to our channel if you're new here. My name's Katie and I'm here to make you question everything that you've ever learned in your whole life. Today we're going to talk about NASA, governmental lies, all the stuff that they're trying to hide and cover up and all their secrets. Well, not all their secrets, but some of their secrets, some good ones, and we're going to talk about them. We're going to expose them. We're going to dive deep into them. I promise it's worth it. Stick around to the end because they just get crazier. They just get crazier, okay? I promise. This is not a video that you guys are going to want to miss. But before we go any further, let me go ahead and say that this video is strictly made for entertainment purposes only. It's 100% speculation. It's my opinion. None of it's factual. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and say that I'm an actress and I'm practicing my movie lines. So, it's fake. Scripted. 100% fake. Hopefully that's good enough. Now let's get into it.
They live, we sleep, the alarms going off, beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elite.
Now, I originally had a list of things that I wanted to talk to you about during this video, obviously already pre-planned. But then while I'm going to put the video together, I have heard online, I'm sure like you guys have, about all the Kate Middleton drama and some other things that are happening or have happened recently. And I felt like they needed addressing before we get into all this stuff. So I just want to talk about these really quick and then we'll move on. But they all kind of align. They all have to do with the truth-seeking movement and finding information out that is not easily and readily available or the mainstream, lamestream news doesn't ever want to cover or talk about, right? We're going to talk about it for them. So, some of you may have heard, a lot of you probably haven't, that there was a billionaire plane crash on the way to the Super Bowl. There was a bunch of billionaires in the plane that crashed on their way there. And the main billionaire who we're talking about, I forget his name, but I'm going to play a clip here in a second for you guys to see. But he was the owner of a bank or something, I believe. And it was him, his wife, and his son that all went down and tragically lost their lives in this plane crash. So if you get rid of him, very wealthy bank owner, his wife, and his heir, who's going to inherit the money? I'm just saying what we all were thinking, okay? I'm just saying it for all of us. Watch the clip and you'll see exactly what I mean.
I find it very weird that no one is talking about how there were 6 Nigerian billionaires who died in a plane crash mysteriously while on their way to the Super Bowl, and how Biden just posted this cryptic ass message right after they died. The CEO of one of the largest banks in the country was on a helicopter with pilots, family, and the CEO/chairman of the Nigeria Stock Exchange when their helicopter mysteriously caught fire and crashed while on their way to the Super Bowl. And what are the odds that Biden on his presidential X account drops this photo with glowing red eyes and this weird caption that shocks all of America? And the caption for this picture that he actually posted on the presidential Twitter account was "just like we drew it up," and everyone thought that they were talking about the Super Bowl when they weren't. I honestly believe that this is what they were talking about. And if you are unfamiliar with the Nigerian Stock Exchange and what they have going on right now with America and just the overall fight for power, money, and greed, you need to pay attention to what is going on. One of the people on that aircraft was a chief executive of Access Bank, and his wife and his son were among those 6 people that were on board, and it went down shortly after 10 p.m. on Interstate 15, and all 6 people were killed, including 2 pilots and the former chairman of NGX Group, the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And what's so crazy, it is saying that authorities are investigating it, which means to me they may suspect foul play. They are trying to say that this could take up to 2 years. This entire investigation could take up to 2 years, and they are calling it a terrible tragedy. The Super Bowl was a giant ritual. And those people in that helicopter, think about it. If you take out the owner and CEO of a large bank, one of the largest banks in the country, you take off his wife, and you take out his son, who is left to get the money? Think about it.
I know. Crazy, right? Insane. Let me know in the comments. Have you heard about that? Had you not heard about it? I had I've heard about it a few times, I think, online. And I had to share it with you guys because it's just crazy. Why are they not covering this on the news? Why is this not common knowledge, right? Because they don't want it to be common knowledge, obviously. Anyways, another thing that I wanted to touch on quickly is the Kate Middleton drama. What the F is going on? Okay. I'm not a big follower of the royals, right? I don't live in England. I don't really care. But that is until like they have like some interesting tea come up. Okay, like I was all up in the Diana conspiracy because like, whoa, there's something going on there. We can make a whole video about that. I could talk about that for hours. Anyways, Kate Middleton. Some of you may have heard, some of you may not have heard. Apparently in December, like right before the new year, right around Christmas, she went for like a routine planned surgery is what they said, right? Abdominal surgery. Okay. Except for she had scheduled royal events like when this surgery was happening. So if it's a planned abdominal surgery, then why are you scheduling royal events at the same time the surgery is supposed to be taking place? Like that's just like bad, like business. Like they don't do that. You know what I mean? Obviously she planned these royal events because she planned to be at the royal events. And then this abdominal, whatever that came up that she needed surgery on, and that halted her being able to go to those events. So in my opinion, it's not a planned routine abdominal surgery. It was something that happened unexpectedly. It could have been her appendix ruptured. I had that happen to me. That's very scary, very painful. It happened suddenly, unexpected, right? It could have been, you know, her gallbladder. It could have been lots of things. But anyways, they're saying it was planned. The facts and doesn't point to it being planned. Anyways, that's not the point. Point is, they didn't come out until the beginning of the new year, almost a month later, and say that she was in the hospital and that she was going to be having this routine planned surgery. Okay. She had this surgery in December. This is what happened like right after Christmas. This is when it happened, or right before Christmas, right around Christmas. And then in January, like after the new year, almost a whole month later, that's when they made the press release saying that she was going for this surgery and that she would be, due to recovery of the surgery, she would be out of the public eye until Easter. Okay. That's a really long time to recover from a surgery, if you ask me. That's like just enough time to train and program a clone or get a clone operating. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I just know it's crazy. Anyways, so then everybody's like freaking out and they're like, well, that's a long time for her to be out of the eye or public eye, right? All this stuff. So then she posts this picture to her Instagram, this picture. Okay. And if you zoom in, there's lots of things wrong with this picture. I can play a couple clips of people pointing it out, but like the son above her shoulders, like hanging on her neck, he has 2 rows of bottom teeth. Like the daughter's skirt's all messed up. The cement in the cement ledge is doing all types of wonky, weird things. It's like clearly an edited photo. Okay.
Look at this photo of Kate Middleton and her children. Does anything seem off to you? First, here. It appears there was some editing around Princess Charlotte's sleeve. The area where the skirt and sweater sleeve meet don't seem to align quite right. Second, here. The area where the Princess of Wales hair and zipper meet seems to be modified as well. You can see a line, which can indicate that the image was photoshopped. Third, here and here. Many have questioned the placement of the princess's arms, which seem unnaturally long as they wrap around her children. Fourth, here. The future queen's hand, placed around her youngest child Prince Louis, appears a bit blurred. The image was published on the Prince and Princess of Wales official social media pages for UK Mother's Day with the caption, quote, "Thank you for your kind wishes and continued support over the last 2 months. Wishing everyone a happy Mother's Day." Prince William was credited as the photographer.
So then everybody started calling out this picture and they were like, that's fake. Like, it's not real. It's been edited. Okay. And everybody was led to believe that that picture was posted by Catherine because of like her sign off with the C and like under the caption of the post, like she'll put some post and then she'll put like a C at the end, like sign off from Catherine. So it came from her. And then afterwards, everybody's like, okay, well, that's edited. It's clearly not a recent picture. They wanted us to think that she was with her kids on British Mother's Day, but she wasn't really, right? So then, they actually, the like palace put out like a cease and desist on this picture. I mean, that's not obviously what it's called, but it's something like that where like they're not allowed to distribute it anymore and they're not allowed to use it anymore. Like they told all the newspapers, like, stop distributing this photo because they had been called out so blatantly for it being faked, right? So then they had Catherine like, oh, let's blame the victim, right? They had her post and was like, oh, like all of us amateur photographers or amateur people online, like, well, I casually experiment with photo editing and like, I'm not professional and that's why you could tell it was edited. Like, it's just me. Hope you guys had a really good Easter or Mother's Day, yada, yada, yada. Sign off again from Catherine. And people are like, I don't know. Like, that doesn't seem like it was her. It seems like y'all are trying to edit her with her kids to make us think that everything's fine when it's not. Okay. So then they had this photo of her being driven by her mother. And it's like a Bigfoot or like UFO photo, like the grainy image. I mean, we couldn't get any like worse of a photo if we tried. And people are like, they're doing that for a reason because that's a body double and that's not really Kate Middleton. And they just want us to think it's her, but it's not, right? So something happened. People are saying like she might have passed away during the surgery. Maybe the royals just like did something to her because she was on like the know of something and she wasn't supposed to find it out. And so they like had to get rid of her. And now they're trying to like get a body double or like a clone in place. I don't know what's going on, but it's crazy, right? So then everybody started running rampant with this photo and they're like, this is clearly something's up here because it's blurry. It's like a grainy image. Like it's not an image that you would see in 2024 from a paparazzi. Like, let's be real. And so then they released this image of William in the car and Kate sitting next to him, right? Except for it's like William's whole face and it's just Kate's like this. Like just like her side profile, she's like looking out the window. Like it could be anybody, right? Again, not a satisfying image. Crazy. Crazy. I don't know. So I don't know what happened to Kate Middleton. I don't know what's going on. All I know is like the palace is like in uproar trying to calm down this conspiracy and trying to like get a handle on this situation. And they can't because they don't have Kate. Something happened to Kate. She's not around. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please let me know. And there may be like new pictures, obviously, like when you're watching this video, but as of making this video, that was the latest that they've updated. I can always do an update on this story and go into more detail. If anybody would like to hear it, please let me know. But crazy. Those were the two things that I had to talk to you about before we get into this video because what's going on? Anyways, make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. All right, let's get into this. So have you guys heard the conspiracy theory that NASA allegedly has a megalodon and that they've been conducting experiments on it? Yeah, because apparently that's a thing. Apparently. So there's been this image of a great white shark that has shown up with a huge bite taken out of it. Like a huge bite taken out of it. And they're thinking like that's just like the top row, which I mean, clearly if you look at the bite or like the picture, like it looks just like the top row of teeth. It doesn't look like the bottom, like whole bite, just the top. Bottom should be like on his belly. You just can't see it here, right? Anyways, crazy. I'll play a clip right here so you can see what I'm talking about.
Is there anything else that might have done this? Could it have been a propeller strike, for instance?
No, we looked at it from a number of different perspectives, and you can actually see some small teeth rake marks around it. The interesting thing about it as well is that that bite, to me, doesn't look like it represents the full diameter of the shark's jaws.
You're saying that's potentially just the front of the jaw, a massive shark's jaw.
So that showed up and they're like, what the hell? That's like a big bite taken out of this great white shark, right? So something obviously is big in the ocean that's doing this. Well, why do you blame it on NASA, Katie? Why do you say that NASA can't be trusted? And why do you say that NASA has a megalodon? Let me tell you, I'll get into it. So allegedly, NASA is currently conducting experiments on a megalodon that they have in their possession. So here is how this secret was revealed to the general public. This is why I'm saying this is even a thing, right? In 1975, NASA was exploring the ocean and trying to gather as much information as possible about the ocean, about the critters that live there, about just everything to do with the ocean, right? And in my opinion, the biggest mystery surrounding NASA's exploration of the ocean is the fact that they just like abruptly stopped exploring the ocean after they had only explored 5% of it. So it's like you start a mission and you have all this funding going behind exploring the ocean and figuring out what's down there. And then you explore 5% and you're like, nah, I'm good. Let's figure out a way to get the F off this planet. I mean, something's a little sus there. I'm just saying. It doesn't seem right. It seems weird. It seems sus. Something's down there that we don't know of, my opinion. So during that year that NASA was exploring the oceans, when they only explored the 5%, right before they decided to stop exploring the oceans and decide to get off this planet somehow. Anyways, during that year, there was allegedly a man who worked for NASA, and he was on this ocean exploration team, okay? And a few days ago, this gentleman came out and revealed everything that he learned and everything that he did research on and just everything that he learned while working at NASA and when they were exploring the ocean during that year. He came out a few days ago and just like spilled the tea on it all. So this guy, John, that's what we're going to call him, John, he was a biologist who was on one of these NASA boats that were exploring depths and like sounding out the bottom of the ocean. So So they're like sounding for ocean depths where they send the sound down, it hits the ocean floor and it comes back up, and they like can tell how deep it is based on how long it took the sound to come back to them and all this science stuff, right? So he's on a team, he's a biologist that's researching the ocean depths. He's sounding the ocean floor for the depth. And then all of a sudden one day, everything changed. They were in the Pacific Ocean above the Philippine Trench. And for those of you who don't know, the Philippine Trench is a trench that has a depth around 32,808 feet deep. So it's pretty deep. While they were exploring over this Philippine Trench and sounding the ocean depths, John noticed an anomaly on the radar equipment. And this anomaly was almost as if something huge was just rising from the ocean depths straight at them, right? But this thing was moving so fast, like at insanely fast speeds. The ship's crew had never seen anything like it. And then, according to John, a gigantic shark fin appeared at the front of the boat. It took them about 20 minutes to capture this creature, and when they did, it was a 59-foot-long megalodon. According to John, remember, this is all according to John's story. After that, NASA stopped exploring the oceans and started experimenting on this shark, and experimenting on how to get to space and all that they do now, right? And I know what you're thinking. Okay, Katie, that's just a story. Like, there's no proof to that. Like, that could just be, like, you know, some mumbo jumbo, like, just like wives' tale, right? Okay, but then check this out. A satellite photo near Sao Paulo seems to have put, like, some credibility behind this theory and has given it some traction online. So let's talk about it. So this satellite photo was taken by NASA, which immediately caused like deep concern among the environmental team and all that, because they thought at first glance it seems to be an oil spill. Thankfully for the ocean life, it didn't actually end up being an oil spill. It ended up being like a cluster of microbes, which are known as, I'm probably going to butcher this, Marionectarubra. Probably butchered it. But that's the name of this microbes that was in this ocean. Okay, so it's not an oil spill, it's just a cluster of microbes, which is a relief for the scientists and, you know, the ocean life, obviously. But while they're investigating this photo, trying to figure out what this is, the scientists come across something huge and unexplainable in the ocean. Now, when you zoom into this picture, it's a little fuzzy at first, but you can tell that that's clearly a shark, right? Clearly a shark. And when you compare it, this satellite image of a bus yard taken near Sao Paulo, and it's at the same resolution, same size, same everything, okay? What you're looking at is a 40-foot school bus. A 40-foot long school bus, okay? And when you compare it with this shark, let me get my big head out of the way. When you compare it with this shark, it puts a lot of things into perspective, right? That now looks like a 70 or 75-foot shark. Which is like mind-blowing, okay? Because like sharks don't get that big. Crazy, yo, crazy. So what is this? Well, it was captured in the ocean. And you're not going to tell me that like, okay, there is a chance that megalodons exist and NASA doesn't know about them? Yeah, right, guys. Yeah, right. They have them. They're experimenting on them. I bet you any money. That like definitely makes you wonder what else the oceans could be hiding. Because like, I don't like the ocean. It's horrifying. Horrifying. Anyways, move on. Have you guys ever heard of Operation Big City? Because if not, you might not want to, because it's like really twisted. It just proves that our government is just running like all types of experiments and tests and studies on us all the time without our knowledge, without consent. Let's get into it. So Operation Big City is a covert experiment that the government ran on the citizens of New York in 1956. So the government used strategically placed cars and underground subway systems to covertly disperse a bacteria, which I'm also going to butcher the name of, known as Vaculus globuli, I don't know, Vaculus globuli, whatever. And they did this, like spread this bacteria through New York, because they wanted to test how far this bacteria would spread if it were to get into the subway systems or like the sewer systems, or just like, you know, just be publicly spread throughout New York. How far would it reach, right? And of course, what the effects of this bacteria spreading would be on humanity and, you know, the like animal life in the city and just all that. So how far it would spread and what the effects would be. That's why they dispersed this bacteria, this toxin throughout the city. Cute. Love being your little test subjects. And do you guys really think for 1 second that they actually like compensated any of their test subjects or like asked them if they would voluntarily participate in this experiment? I doubt it. Really doubt it. Or do you think that the civilians of New York ever like were even told that this was happening or asked if this was okay? No, hell no. They did it secretly. They never told anybody until like so many years go by and they have to release it through these declassified documents where 90% of the information is still redacted. Oh, cool. Thanks for telling me your half-truth. Appreciate it. 50 years later when there's nothing I can do. They just continued to secretly carry out this experiment without telling a single civilian or resident of New York what they were willingly ingesting and breathing in and putting in their bodies. They just like, screw it. Keep going. They don't tell anybody anything, apparently, according to them. Classy. I know, some of you don't believe me. Watch it. Watch this video and enlighten yourselves on Operation Big City.
February 1956. In the heart of New York, Operation Big City was underway. A Ford Mercury, specially adapted with a hidden exhaust pipe, pumped out bacteria onto the streets of Manhattan. Undercover agents entered the city's subway system, their cases equipped with tiny motors, which covertly dispersed the bacteria Bacillus globuli. 10 years later, the army returned. Light bulbs filled with bacteria were dropped in front of trains and down ventilation shafts to test how far the bacteria would spread through the subway system. For years, these public experiments were kept secret from the citizens of New York.
I know. It's insane, right? And do you think that this is like not happening today? Do you think that they just like, oh, that's a thing that happened in the 50s and 60s and we don't do that anymore? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. They cloned Tyrone was about that. Like they'd still do, I promise you they still do this. Promise. Craziness, yo. Crazy. But no, I should totally trust the government, right? Because now they've declassified this document 50, 60 years later with 60 to 75% of the information redacted. So we now like know the truth, right? Or at least like a semi-partial truth, whatever they want us to think is true. Now we know it 50 years later. So like, who are they hurting? Of course we can trust them, right? Another reason why I don't trust NASA or the government. Do you know that NASA has an entire parking lot full of cars that were made like before the 70s, before the 60s without any computer chips in them? They're all like old school, reliable cars with no computer chips in them. Why would they need so many old school cars? Why? I know some of you are like, what are you talking about? Here, I scooted myself over so I can show you what I'm talking about. I'll play the video while I tell you about it. Like, why would they need or want to have this many old school cars? It just doesn't make any sense, right? Unless they're planning for something. And the weird thing is they're not just like old school NASA vehicles. You could just be like, oh, those are old NASA vehicles that they're saving onto for like, I don't know, remnants or like just like safekeeping. No. They're like, it's just like an onslaught of different vehicles, different types of old school vehicles. The only thing that they seem to have in common is that they're all old school vehicles, like the steel cars, safe, reliable, like you're not going to crunch like an accordion if you get into a car accident, and they have no computer chips in them. Because, you know, if you're preparing for an EMP attack, you might want a parking lot full of cars that would still work because they have no computer chip in them to fry during an EMP. Just a thought, just my thought. I guess this is where that $55 million a day budget is going, huh? Sorry, $55,753,424.66 per day budget, to be exact. Guess that's where that's going, because we all know that it's not actually getting us into space. I don't know. Seems really sus to me. Let me know what you guys think all these old cars are for, and just keep questioning everything. Literally, question everything. Okay, guys, so here's where we're gonna get really, really, really wild. Stick with me. Promise, it's worth it. Do you know who owns the rights to the interior of the Great Pyramids, like in Egypt? If not, you'll never guess when I tell you who. NASA! Ding, 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 we have a winner! They own everything. Everything. But you might ask yourself why. Why do they own the rights to the interior of the Great Pyramid? Why would they want to own the rights to the interior of the Great Pyramid? That has nothing to do with space or like space exploration. So why? Which would be a very valid question to ask. Well, there's a theory out there that says that the pyramids are some sort of advanced technology that deals with frequency and energy transfers, basically making it possible to be some sort of portal or harvest the energy for making a portal. I don't know. Obviously, there's lots of theories out there as to what the Great Pyramids could be. But this theory says that they basically are like an energy transfer harnessing building to make a portal, basically. Allow me to explain. So, theory has it, that ancient Egypt and these ancient pyramids in Egypt are actually connected to the Grand Canyon here in the United States, in Arizona, through these portals, right? Or through some sort of underground tunnel system, portal system, okay? That's this theory. Now I know, this theory is like super outlandish and like really out there, but it might just have some validity, especially when you realize that NASA not only owns the rights to the interior of the Grand Pyramid, which on its own makes absolutely no sense, but NASA also owns a small portion of the Grand Canyon, which, suspect enough, is not available to the public and has a no-fly zone over it. I'm just saying, a little suspect if you ask me. Like, what does NASA want with the Grand Canyon? Like, what is going on there? Why the no-fly zone? Why is it, like, not open for public access? Why do you even own the Grand Canyon? That makes even less sense than you owning the interior to the freaking Great Pyramid. Like, none of this makes sense, NASA. Please make it make sense. Now, tons of people have reported seeing inside of the Grand Canyon, they have reported seeing, like, pyramids, ancient, like, artifacts, ancient Egyptian artifacts, and even hieroglyphs have all been seen inside of the Grand Canyon, which is like the really weird place for you to find this stuff because like, what are you doing in the Grand Canyon, bro? You're supposed to be in Egypt. Crazy. Now, this specific area of the Grand Canyon has not only been restricted to the public and a no-fly zone has been put in place for the above area, but it is also extremely hard to access as it is located in a very hard to reach spot of the canyon. And the hike to get there alone would be extremely treacherous, not including all like the legal risks you're taking, obviously. Now, despite these obstacles, people still try to venture out to this spot, driven by a desire to uncover the Grand Canyon's secrets. Now, unfortunately, over the years, many individuals have been arrested, and even more unfortunately, some have even lost their lives while attempting to reach this secret location of the Grand Canyon. Now, legend has it that the hieroglyphs and, ancient carvings found at this specific spot of the Grand Canyon tell a different story about our past and origin than what we were all taught in school, which obviously could be a huge part of the reason why this spot has been so strongly hidden from us all. And if there's a connection between the Grand Canyon and the Great Pyramids, why that has been hidden from us all too, because they don't want us to go out to the Grand Canyon looking for these things because you might come across these hieroglyphs that tell the truth behind our origin. I don't know, just a thought. Now, if not portals under the Great Pyramids, then people also say that there is a labyrinth of tunnels that connect basically everywhere in the world, but specifically that these tunnels connect from the Great Pyramids to the Grand Canyon. And that this tunnel system basically runs on some type of ancient tech, which basically would allow anybody using this tunnel travel system to basically travel at the speed of light and therefore get anywhere in the world within a matter of minutes, okay? Something that I also find interesting. Let me scoot my butt over so you can see this video while I'm talking about it. But there is this video that was found. Somebody found something very strange on Google Earth, okay? And they saw what looked to be like jagged mountain rock, like zigzag jagged mountain tops, okay? And they only found this spot because they were looking for a good place to camp to see like the upcoming solar eclipse. So they're looking for places to camp and they notice this jagged mountain range like top on Google Earth. And they think, well, that's weird. That's not nothing that like should be in nature. I wonder what that is. So then they go out to the spot to check it out in person. And because they want to, like, you know, set up their like stuff they're going to camp with and stuff, obviously, because they're going to camp out there for this upcoming solar eclipse. So they're just checking out the spot in person, making sure it's a good campsite and all that stuff. Plus they wanted to investigate this like jagged mountain range top that they found. So they get there and this is what they find.
On October 14th, 2023, a ring of fire solar eclipse passed directly over the American Southwest. I spent a lot of time searching Google Earth for a cool spot to see it. Eventually I stumbled across this massive cliff overlooking Monument Valley. It was when I started looking for campsites on the edge of this cliff that I noticed something odd. The cliffside was not a straight line as you would expect. It looked more like a giant zigzag. And then I zoomed in, and suddenly I understood why. This cliffside is composed of hundreds, maybe even thousands, of massive, geometrically perfect cubes and rectangles. This immediately piqued my interest and got me thinking, is it possible for a perfect cube to exist in nature? What would it look like when one of these comes crashing down? And what else is there to find here? Here's the blocks I was looking at on Google Earth. It looks like one of these cubes is just missing. These rocks are really like huge Legos. It's pretty awesome.
Make this stuff make sense. These ginormous blocks, first of all, they're so perfect. What would have cut them so perfect? Nature doesn't make straight lines like that. Very strange. And then they almost look like the bricks used to make the Great Pyramid, do they not? Because to me, they do. And then this is in the Grand Canyon. And they're saying that the bricks that were used to make the Great Pyramids were taken from very far on like the other side of the world, basically, right? And that's why we can't replicate how they built it, because we don't understand how they got the blocks there, how they had all this precision, like it's all this stuff, right? Okay. These look like the pyramid blocks, do they not? So what if there really is some type of portal system from the Grand Canyon to the Great Pyramids of Giza, and that's how they got these bricks over there to build the pyramids, right? Is through this portal system or through the speed of light travel tunnel system that's underneath here, or, you know, all these options. It like is starting to make a little bit more sense, right? If you think that like the ancient Egypt and the Great Pyramids of Giza and all that are connected to the Grand Canyon, these blocks being here, these, you know, videos and stories of people saying that they saw pyramids and stuff in the Grand Canyon, all of this is starting to make a little bit more sense. I don't know. Nuts. Like when I saw this video of these blocks, that's the only thing I thought was, oh my God, are those the bricks they used to make the Great Pyramids? Like, that's crazy. Let me know what you guys think, because I just think this is crazy. Now, these ancient Egyptian artifacts and like hieroglyphs that I keep mentioning that were found in the Grand Canyon, they were allegedly originally found in the Grand Canyon between the year of 1907 to 1909 by an explorer of the name G.E. Kincaid. Allegedly, he was exploring a cave in the area, and he's the first one to come across these hieroglyphs and all this stuff. However, it is highly debated in history, and nobody's like said for certain, like, yes, it was G.E. Kincaid, but that's what a lot of people speculate. No proof of it. It's like highly debated. Anyways, watch this video about him finding, or his findings, and you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about.
About 42 miles upstream from the El Tovar Crystal Canyon and 2,000 feet up the canyon wall, G.E. Kincaid and S.A. Jordan spotted what appeared to be some sort of stairway that led to a huge cave. And at this point, they did what anyone searching for minerals and gold would do, and they went inside the cave. Now this is where things take a turn and become really, really strange. According to Kincaid, the entrance to the cave was described as a tunnel-like passageway that was large enough to accommodate several people walking side by side. He also describes that 60 feet into the entrance you'll find branching off to the right and left of the cave a number of rooms the size of living rooms that have these oval-shaped entrances and ventilation systems. Little by little, Kincaid and S.A. Jordan started realizing that whatever it was that they found was possibly some sort of ancient underground city, just like the ones we see in Turkey and many other places throughout the world. But it doesn't stop there. They went even further, and they found what appeared to be some sort of cross hall, several hundred feet long, and sitting in the middle of it, some sort of huge statue that resembled a Buddha statue with a lotus flower in each hand. From now on, there are a couple of branches to this story, and one of them states that Kincaid and S.A. Jordan returned from their exploration to pass this information over to the Smithsonian to gather more men to actually explore this underground city, being that it was huge. Now, according to this article that was published in the 1900s by the Arizona Gazette, G.E. Kincaid and S.A. Jordan returned to the cave, now with an expedition backed up by the Smithsonian and financed by S.A. Jordan himself. They go deeper into the cave, and what they found would completely shatter absolutely everything we know about human history. They found copper tools, including knives, spears, and other objects. They also found, carved into the cave walls, what looked like Egyptian hieroglyphs, which would make no sense, being that they were in the Grand Canyon, United States. There was also a perfectly polished granite stairway that led deeper into the cave, and it was perfectly smooth.
Now, this theory that I've been explaining to you about the Grand Canyon and the Great Pyramids being connected is obviously highly speculated, right? But normally, when people are talking about this theory, they normally tend to lean towards one of two storylines, okay? The first storyline being the one that I've already told you about how there's either a tunnel system with a very fast travel or like a portal that connects the two places, and that's how they were able to build it, and that's why all these pyramids are spotted in the Grand Canyon and all this stuff, okay? So that's like the first part of this theory. The second part of the theory actually goes on to say that America is Egypt and that we're being lied to about all of it, basically.
The Mississippi River is actually the Nile River. And the Nile River runs very far. That's why when you go read stories of ancient Egypt, they talk to you about Egypt was a beautiful city that sat right off the Nile River. It was another ancient city, beautiful city that was not that far from Egypt. Egypt was a beautiful city that sat off the Nile River. It was called Memphis. Now over here in America, look at where Memphis sits at. It sits right off the Mississippi River, don't it? If you go look at a map, look at the way the Nile River runs. Now go look at the way the Mississippi River runs. Go look at the way the land is shaped on the map in Egypt where they show you how the Nile River runs. Now go look at a map of North America and look at like the Chicago area, Wisconsin area, and the Mississippi River. You're going to see the same land. You're going to see the same little body of water, the water gap. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, right. That's the Midwest. That's around them states, and then that lead down to that, and that's, oh, okay, that drop down there. Oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. I see how they hit it. They'll never show you this, man. Go look up the longest river. They're going to say it's the Nile. The Nile is one of the longest rivers in the world. Now go look up the Mississippi River and see if it's not also one of the longest rivers in the world.
Now that part of the theory is a little bit out there for me. I don't know if that's necessarily what I believe, but I don't know. I think the portals and like the fast tunnel travel system, I think it's very possible because I definitely believe in portals, and I know that there's a tunnel system underneath like all of the US that connects everything. So like, why wouldn't there be one underneath the whole world, right? Like, just makes sense to me. To me, it makes sense. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I don't know about this part of the theory, but I do know that there have been lots of like mysterious and unexplainable things found all around America. So like, if this is Egypt, I could see where that part of this theory like kind of has some like, not like facts to it, but like some gravity behind it, and like why people would like kind of cling to that. Because let me show you what I mean. Watch. Okay, so this picture right here is some type of strange tomb that was found in Utah. It's like some type of weird pharaoh Egyptian tomb, right? But it was found in Utah in the United States. Strange. Then you have this pyramid in Pennsylvania. You have a pyramid in Georgia, pyramid in Idaho. There's a pyramid in Texas, pyramid in Washington, a pyramid in Colorado. Like there's pyramids found all over the United States. And then you have this pyramid shadow that showed up in, I might butcher this again, in Mount McLaughlin, Oregon. Probably butchered the name of that, sorry. But this shadow pyramid showed up in Oregon. Make it make sense, guys. I don't know. I guess I could see the validity and like where people say that America might be Egypt, because like it's really strange that we find all this stuff all around the United States. Really weird. Really weird. Anyways, so that's going to bring us to the end of today's video. I don't want to, keep you guys here for hours, but I do have like some really good video ideas coming up that I want to talk to you guys about. I just need to get all the information and everything together to make those videos. But we are going to take a deep dive into some really weird and mysterious things happening around this earth, because there's some weird stuff going on and we need to point it out. And also my daughter is dying to be in another video. She loves all of you guys and can't wait to see you guys again. So we are going to be making a video with her shortly soon. Thanks as always for hanging out with me. I really appreciate your guys' time. I hope these theories and stuff were interesting to you and made you question what the hell's going on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think America is Egypt? Do you think that this portal connecting the Great Pyramids and the Grand Canyon is possible? Do you think that underground tunnels at the speed of light travel is possible with some advanced ancient technology? Honestly, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theorist in me, but like none of that sounds far-fetched to me. I don't know. But I definitely think it's plausible that like ancient Egypt and the Grand Canyon are connected. And I think that those blocks had something to do with the building of the pyramids. And I think it just makes too much sense not to be, right? Like it just has to be. Something has to be up there. Something. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I could talk about this for hours. Thanks as always for your time. If you haven't already liked the video, make sure you like the video. If you're not subscribed to our channel, get subscribed to our channel. What are you doing with your life? Hello, we're cool over here. Come join our truth-seeking community. All right, and that's the end of that. So until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!